Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha Rahman. I'm the founder of Isha May. So today's video is going to be about my first initial project. I mentioned this to you in my last video about the background of Isha May. So this video is basically going to be like the whole process from start to finish. So you're going to see before and afters. The afters are always the best bit, my fave. Anyway, okay, so initially my client, he contacted me via Instagram. Then we had an initial meeting where we just kind of sat down. He spoke to me about what it was that he wanted, that he's got this new space and he really wants to make it look like something from London. As soon as he said that, I was just like, I know exactly what you mean. You know, obviously coming from London myself, I know the type of locations that you'll find there. So I knew what he was talking about. And straight away, I just could visualize everything. So anyway, so we had that initial meeting. Then after that, we had the walkthrough. This is where I went to the project, got to see the whole project. I took some videos, and did I take videos? Yeah, I think I did. I took some videos. The reason why I'm like kind of questioning myself is because as the business is growing, I've kind of changed and tweaked things since then. Yeah, changed things and just to, you know, keep developing things, and where I just kind of saw this would work better. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, so then after that, I had the consultation with my client. And from the consultation, for me personally, anyway, I always find it so helpful. It reveals so much. So I knew the type of style that he wanted, which was a contemporary feel with some kind of African influences, slight here and there. Yes, with some touches of industrial in there. So I created a inspiration mood board. I always do this firsthand just to make sure that me and the client are on the same page. You know, I don't want to get right, like dive into all of the design work, and then my client's kind of like, this is really not the style I was thinking of, or the style that they really like. So I always do that firsthand. Once like they approved that, then basically I just hit the ground running. I then created some mood boards, but in order to do that, I also created areas for the restaurant slash bar lounge, because it's quite a large space, and I wanted to make sure that the style and the feel and the sense and everything that I wanted to put in there was really going to be conveyed very well. So I broke them all down. I created the areas. So initially, the front space of the restaurant has these troughs where we were going to put some plants, add some new plants in there and some lighting. So anyway, I just called that the plant area. Then there was another section where we could seat people, so called that the left dining area. This is outside. And then there was the right dining area. Then there was also a side bit by the restaurant. So I thought that would be really great, because here, and especially for that type of establishment anyway, but here in Gambia, a lot of people like to have that kind of VIP kind of section where they feel a bit special. They have their own specific area. I thought that would be great. People could have their own bar. So over there, I called that the private VIP area. Then as you go inside, you've got the bar area, the entrance, and then you've got the left lounge area, because initially we were going to have it as a dining. I think it was all going to be dining, but as the process was taking place, my client decided to change it. So that was the lounge area. Then to the right is the right lounge area. Then obviously you've got the toilets. So you've got the corridor of the toilets, and then you've got the cubicles. So I literally made little bite sizes, so it was a lot easier for myself and a lot easier for my client to understand how it was all going to be laid out. For the kitchen itself, I personally didn't do the kitchen purely because it was my first project. I wasn't very sure how a restaurant kitchen was going to be done, so I left that to the chef who had many years of experience and knew exactly what they needed, and I learned from that. Then on the right hand side next to the kitchen, I wanted to make a kind of small office where you could put a CCTV and other things there for my client. So that's how I broke it all up. So then I created mood boards for those specific areas. So then you've got the mood boards for the plant area, where you can see I decided to put some lights in between the plants. And my client, they mentioned they like the dwarf palm trees. So I inserted the dwarf palm trees, put some lights there in between, and the railings, which were going to be glass, which was my client's idea, because initially we were going to keep the original railings, but that just wasn't possible, which I'll go into later. Then also I wanted to put some pebbles, well, some kind of, not pebbles, but I'm not sure what these stones are called, but you can see anyway. I wanted to put those stones within the area to prevent any more growth, because here in the Gambia there's a lot of rain during the raining season, which creates things to grow, obviously. So, and here things grow very, very easily, very, very quickly. So I wanted to put something there to kind of prevent that and kind of keep a nice clean look. I also had the lights there that, you know, they weren't going to be the specific ones, but something of that nature. Then I did the outside dining lounge area. Here, as you can see, I put some kind of really comfy but luxe contemporary looking type seating. I was really quite excited about this seating, and I wanted to add something a bit different, something that would make people stop and look. So I thought to myself, you know, where the restaurant is not very far from the beach, I could bring in a different type of seating. So I decided to put some swing chair seating there, which is not something you'd usually see in a restaurant. You'd normally see it maybe at a beach bar, but I just thought, why not? It's different. It can create an area where people are going to want to take pictures, and this is what I kept thinking of each time I was designing certain areas, especially as I knew that's something that my client would like, and plus it's free advertising. If you've got places within your space where people want to take pictures, they're most likely going to post it somewhere or show it to somebody, and there, voila, you got free advertising. So that was what I was thinking. So yeah, and also because the space is quite large, I wanted to divide it. So I found these pictures of these kind of like dividers that I thought would be brilliant, especially because it was called Diamond Lounge. I wanted to create pieces that would make you think of diamonds without being literal, because, you know, that's the whole point of design, you know. So I thought if I put things in there that would mimic the kind of edges and sharpness of a diamond, that it would create that kind of thought and feeling. So this is why I chose these dividers, which I just love. As you'll see throughout the design, you know, you'll see elements where things are mirroring each other, and I've put a lot of patterns within the space. Okay, so I also, as my client wanted to have shisha, or for my American viewers, hookah, I created a bar. So therefore, whoever was going to serve it, they had a space where they could put all the elements that they needed, and it was easy to just serve the customers there and then, rather than having to go inside into the establishment. It made more sense to have something outside. So I created this bar that we were going to have on the outside. Okay, onto the right side, it's more or less the same thing. The only thing that you don't have is the bar, because obviously I just felt like it would have fitted better in the corner on the left hand side, so you don't have that. But apart from that, they mirror each other. Then if we move on to the lounge private area to the right hand side, here I wanted, again, something different. I wanted, as the space was going to be kind of have a London feel, but I also wanted it to bring in some of the beach elements, and also I wanted to have something different. It's a lounge, so I wanted people to be able to feel comfortable yet special. So I thought it would be great to have these swing beds. So I thought, yeah, we can have 2 swing beds here, and then we can have a private bar where, if you like, you can also sit at the bar. So there's 4 seats there that you can sit at the bar. Again, the bar was created because there was nothing there for whomever was going to serve. So they'll have the drinks there and they can just serve them. So you literally don't even need to move from that space. You've got your music, you'll have your drinks, and you know, if you do want food, you can also have food that would be served from the inside, obviously, and bring it out to you. But I just thought it'd be a great space. So then we're moving on to the inside. So the entrance, I initially was going to put, well, for the top part of above the door, I was going to put some faux foliage and then get the name Diamonds in Lights and have it put there. But then my client, he had an idea. He had seen something he liked and he wanted to have it implemented on the restaurant, which you'll see later. So that was foregone. The only thing that is the same there is obviously the tiling. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention the whole tiles from the outside were taken. The outside and the inside were all changed. Those were all smashed up, got completely new tiles. The one thing here that I always try and stick to is I try and stick to matte tiles, not the shiny ones, because the shiny ones can be quite slippery and dangerous, especially when it rains, and especially if you've got children running around. So it's not something that I recommend. I mean, if my clients decide to have them, then that's entirely up to them, but I do recommend non-slip tiles, especially within a space where there's going to be a lot of movement. Yeah, I just wouldn't recommend it. So therefore, this is what we had, which you can see here on the mood board. They were a slight difference. Instead of getting the more white with the grey veining, we got grey with white veining, which worked really well and still looks beautiful. So yeah, that's the only thing here. Oh yes, and the outside lights, they were changed a little bit as well. They still have the top, I can't remember what you call them, but the lights where it has an opening at the top and the bottom, so therefore you've got the top and the bottom lighting. Yeah, so that's the only thing that was kept there. Then we moved on to the inside. So we've got the left-hand dining. As you can see here, I've got the faux foliage, and I wanted to make a faux foliage wall and put some flowers on them just to give it a kind of female touch, just to soften it a little bit. So then obviously inside, I changed the light pendants to this metal light pendant, which I love. I think they're beautiful. And the reason being is because I wanted the experience to feel different on the inside. The outside, I had some other ones made. Those were completely different to the ones that we have on the inside. But also, I couldn't put the same ones that we had on the inside, I couldn't put them on the outside because of the type of climate that there is here. They would probably rust up, even though these are rust-free, stainless steel. Yes. So I had that. Then I put these wooden chairs because I wanted to bring in from some of the elements from outside inside to tie it in together. And then also on here you can see that I've got these mini lights that I thought would be so cool that you can put on the table that look like, well, that mimic candles, which I thought would be really nice and will set a different tone and mood for more evening dining. Okay, so here I've just got the doorway. This is the doorway for the kitchen. These doors in no way were what I was going to put there. They were just, I just wanted to show a grey painted door. I couldn't find doors that were quite similar to the ones that were there. I think this is because they were probably made to fit those, the opening. So instead I just found these kind of grey doors here, and then I just wanted to show that I wanted the foliage to go over the head of the doors, just to create some drama, to kind of feel like, you know, it's the vine and the foliage are kind of like growing like natural ones that you would see out on walls. Yeah, so that's that. Then on the right hand side, obviously the foliage isn't there, so it's just the same as what you have on the left hand side, just minus the feature wall. Okay, so to the bar. The bar, I wanted it to have a whole kind of life of its own. I wanted it to stand out, to be interesting to sit around, for you to have things to look at. That was what my idea was. So I wanted to have these metal frames. So the same way that I had the dividers created to divide up the space outside, I wanted the dividers to be used to put on the front of the bar. I just thought it would create like a nice feature. I wanted the LED light to be behind it and the light to shine through, and it to just give this kind of different look around the bar. Yeah, that was the concept. And then I came across this really cool feature, and I really wanted to use it at the bar. So where you have this cage, and then you've got the lights dropping through it, and then you've got some vine. Well, I wanted to add the vine on there, faux vine, just to bring in again the outside into the inside, and just to have this whole essence around the bar. Also, to again mirroring the whole diamond, I wanted to then have a bar, not a bar, drink shelving where it mimics a diamond. So hence why this is here. And also knowing that sitting at a bar, you could be sitting there for some time. You want it to be comfortable, you want to feel comfortable, you want to keep your customers feeling comfortable so they'll keep buying. So I wanted to have these stools here where they were cushioned, and you can just feel very comfortable in your space during the time that you're at the restaurant. Okay, for the toilets, I know a lot of people here specifically, toilets are just forgotten. And I know most people don't really care about toilets, but I wanted the toilets to have a feature, especially for girls. Girls, as females, we love to be in the toilet and take a picture. I don't know why, we just do. So I wanted to make sure that this area really made the females, and even males, because I don't know, I think guys, do you like doing it? I don't know. But anyway, I know I wanted them to feel comfortable and really want to take a selfie. Women, we love taking selfies. So I wanted to have these really cool black and white tiles in there. And then I wanted to create a kind of a moody, sexy feel in the toilet is what I wanted. So I wanted to use the subway tiles, put those in the cubicles, and then on the outside in the hallway, it was just going to be wallpaper and the mirror tiles, but I had to make some adjustments. So then I just created one wall to the left hand side where it was this wallpaper mural, cannot say that word, mural wallpaper, which I love. It's beautiful. I wanted this wallpaper on there. And then again, for the mirror tiles, I initially did want the diamonds style tiles. So again, obviously mirroring diamond. Although we weren't able to get that in the end, so had the subway one. Still works, still looks beautiful. It just didn't pattern the way that I wanted it to. Yeah, and then again in the toilets, some features were changed. So initially we were just gonna have like a small little sink, but then ended up going for a sink with a wood chop block underneath it, which brings in some of the front from the outside inside. And then also, what else was there? Oh, it was actually my client's idea. He said, why don't we put the same feature that I did over the bar into the toilets. I thought that was a great idea. So got some of those cages made, had those hoisted up, and then again put the light in the middle. So therefore I got the electrician to add some more lights in there because there was just one light, and with that feature there it was probably going to block out the light, and also with the black tiles I knew that the black would more or less swallow up a lot of the light in there. So I wanted to make sure that there was enough lighting, so we added 4 spotlights in there, as well as having the original light that was in the middle. So that was that. Then, as I mentioned, I did say that I also had the office that we created, or sorry, that I created. Although this never happened because this was something that I learned from myself. I realized that a restaurant kitchen basically takes up a lot more space than what I envisioned. So therefore the office space was never actually installed because they needed more space for fridges and things of that nature. So that's something I really did learn. Although we were able to put some elements of the office there. I'm not sure how it looks now because obviously I'm not behind there anymore. But yeah, so that's the mood boards as you see. Okay, so from that I made the 2D floor plan. There I had to be really careful with how I was placing everything to make sure that there was enough space for people to move around the tables. I didn't want to add too much tables. Also, my client didn't want, initially we were kind of thinking the amount of tables that I did put there was enough. He didn't want too many because, you know, you don't want to have too many and then you're not filling it, as it was a new business for him too. So initially I think there was 72 chairs, which was quite a lot. 72, not tables and chairs, but just seats. There was, I think, about 72. Yeah, so that seemed a lot. So I made sure that I created enough space. There were some elements which did change, as I will go through that once we get there. And also I did learn from some of this too, because there were some parts, especially down the private side, where I thought there was a bit more space and I did a bit of a miscalculation, so I had to adjust some things, but it still worked out in the end. This is the thing with designing. Sometimes you do these things, but you just have to make sure you correct it as you go along, or make the desired changes that you need to do, and don't be afraid to do that. Sometimes you might lose elements of your design because of not being able to get certain things, and that's what happened. So for instance, in my mood board I had things like certain chairs I wanted and certain seating that we wanted for outside, because initially we were going to have some things brought over from the UK. We weren't able to, so certain things I had to change, like for instance where I mentioned the diamond mirror tiles. Those we weren't able to get, so I think they were sold out, so I had to get another one. For the seating outside, weren't able to get those shipped over, it was just too many, so then I had to swap that out and change it for something else. My client actually came across them while he was out shopping, and I approved it and said, yeah, that's fine, it will work. So, you know, you do have to be quite flexible when it comes to your design sometimes, especially when living in a place like the Gambia, because sometimes there are things that you can have access to and other times there isn't, and that's just how it is in general. It's the same with food and the same with your favorite snacks or something like that. You might see that it's there in abundance at one time and then it's just not there at another time, so you just have to be quite flexible with that. But overall, the whole look I feel like came together really well. So anyway, now let's talk about the actual process. Okay, so once we actually got to work, as I mentioned beforehand, we realized that the decking and the railings had to go, because initially I did have them within the design and I was going to keep them and just get them sanded down and painted. I wanted to do them the kind of worn whitewash look on the wood, but it just didn't work out that way. The railings had to go, and then instead we got installed the glass railings, which looks so much better. really beautiful. The only thing I would say is that it does create a bit of heat, so if you do feel like you would like to use that for yourself, just keep that in mind. But they do look stunning. So yeah, so we had to do that. Also, there were two things that I had for the bar with the, so at the private area, I wanted the bar to be made in concrete so that it could be tiled at the bottom and then have a wood top. But I wasn't able to do that. When I spoke to the tradesman, he said it's not possible, it's too heavy because it's a wooden decking, so I wasn't able to have that. So in the end, we just went with the wooden one there, and then I swapped it and had the tiled one for the shisha bar instead. Also, the tiles that I wanted to get were not available, so I had to change that too. Although the changes that I made, again, like I said, I'm still really, really happy with how it looks, as you can see. So then, also for the plants, we weren't able to find the bigger stones that I wanted, so I had to opt for smaller ones, and they were a darker grey, but it still worked really well. As we went inside now, I think inside went quite well. The only thing was that the way in which I placed the bar on the 2D floor plan, and we ended up changing it because really actually it was a better flow to have the DJ placed where he's more facing the whole lounge rather than just that one side. The initial thought of me placing it where it was facing the windows was because that was going to be the side where it was going to be like the dance floor. But then I suppose as the place developed, you know, it was kind of like, actually we're going to have the whole place is going to be kind of like a dance floor rather than just that side. So that worked well in the end. Also, myself and my dad actually attached the faux foliage I was very precious about it, and I really didn't want it to be messed up by anybody, and I knew exactly how I wanted it. So my dad helped me with that. Also on the bar area, I was the one that tacked the faux foliage that we had left over. I literally puzzled it together pieced it together like a puzzle, basically. It was actually quite cool. I enjoyed it. And just, I used some tacks. I actually used, I'm not sure if you know, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture, but when electricians do wiring, sometimes they use these tacks and they kind of are like brackets, and it brackets it to the wall like this. So this part is the nail and then this part is plastic, and you just kind of nail it in. So I used that and literally like hammered it in, and it worked well because initially I used hot glue and it did not work. It stayed up. I remember taking a picture, I showed my client, I went home, and then I think while he was there, it started to slowly fall down, and he sent me a picture and it was literally all on the floor. So these things were quite interesting. It was good because it helped me learn. It really did. It helped me learn what to use, what I can use, what I can't use, and all of that. But I feel like the whole layout of the place looks absolutely stunning. I get so many compliments about it, and I'm really proud of the work that I did do. I still can see things that I feel like I wish I could have done this, or I wish I did this, or this needs to be there, because I do feel like the walls have a lot of negative space, which I would have to have put some ornaments or pictures. But maybe that's something my client can do at a later stage, because it was something we were going to do, but it just didn't happen. But these are some things, but at the end of the day, like I said, I really, really love it. I'm quite proud of myself, especially for being my first initial paid project. And tell me what you think. How do you like it? Do you love it as much as I do? What would you have done differently? What would you have added or taken away? I would love to know. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed explaining it to you. And thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video. Okay, take care. Bye.